Hi everyone, I'm Needlecraft Danny. This is flosstube number 110, and I'm here on the Monday. And I told you I would be back on Tuesday, but here I am. So basically, after I did my video on last Monday, um, I went to work, and at work we started to talk, and yeah, I realized I had one vacation day left. So I tried to use that, and it worked out perfectly for today. I had already booked my flights, so I knew I would be arriving in the morning. I arrived back here at 9 a.m. And therefore, I basically had the whole day off. I needed a little bit of sleep, but that's what I did first then. And yeah, so I'm here today. I want to talk a little bit about my Christmas and everything else that happened. So basically a bit of a life update. But I know some people maybe won't like that. And I also want to say, if you have a problem with talking about injuries and stuff, um, then you might not want to watch it. Nothing serious happened, but I thought I would talk a little bit about it. And if you have a problem with that, please don't watch it. But first, I'm going to talk about all my whip updates, and then I give you another warning that I will start my life update and you can turn it off if you like. I don't want to force anyone to watch me talking about what happened. So yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to say beforehand, I think. So let's get started with what I did stitch on. Only 4 projects, so not a lot this time. Well, only 3 I stitched on, and 1 I want to show you because I plan to stitch on it today. But yeah, let's get started. So last Monday, when we spoke the last time, I told you I would be stitching on Story Keep the Frog Prince. The artwork is by Melanie Devon and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. That's going to be the finished piece, and I'll show you what it looked like last time here. And this is where I got to. I'm not sure how many stitches exactly I did, but I think I did 300. So I'm stitching this in diagonals of 10 by 10 blocks. So I continued my diagonal, and I think I did stitch those 3 10 by 10 blocks and nothing more. I had hoped for more, but Monday was a busy day, and therefore not much got done. Nevertheless, I'm really happy with what I managed to do, because this brighter part in here, that's the start of her dress. It's this shoulder piece up here, so that's very exciting. And I'm glad I reached that. I didn't really realize that was on this page and in this diagonal, so I'm really happy about that. That's the whole width. So I basically just moved down now in those diagonals. They don't get any longer anymore, and I just make my way down. She is stitched on a 32 count light blue linen, and I'm stitching 2 over 110 stitch. The needleminder is from Danka Designs, and as you can see, I have a lot of fabric left over. I will not cut it yet. I'm still on the search for another story keep that might fit on here, and maybe I then need a little bit less of a margin, maybe only 2 inches or 1 inch, something like that, so I can fit the next story keep on here. That's why I keep the fabric until I have found a project to fit on here. But yeah, this is my story keep, the Frog Prince, and I'm really happy with it. Not as much as I had hoped, but still 300 stitches is good progress, and I'm happy with that. Okay, Tuesday was the day before I flew off to my parents, and basically I had still so much to do. I still wanted to achieve so much from stitching that I decided to just not go to sleep. I had to get up at 3:30, I think, anyways, so I decided to just stay up and not go to bed at all. And that's what I did, and therefore I managed quite a bit of my stitching. So the project I was stitching on Tuesday was Norwegian Ship Under Sail. It's the small edition. It's started by Golden Kite, and that's going to be the finished piece. I show a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is where I got to. Really happy with that. So basically I'm stitching in diagonal pages, and therefore I'm stitching now on the second page in the second row. And last time you saw this, I had started this column over here, basically done most of the background, and have not yet started on the sails. So this time I finished off the background, that bit that was left to do, and then started stitching on those sails, and I'm just so happy with how they turn out. I'm really thrilled I managed to actually finish that column, and yeah, I'm happy, really happy with this one. It's stitched on 18 count antique white Aida. I'm stitching 2/1 4 crosses, needleminder from Danka Designs. And I can't wait to get back to this one. It will get super confetti heavy in this page, but I'm finally into the big part of the ship. I mean, yeah, I stitched those sails already, but this down here, I'm getting to the middle of the ship, so that's really exciting. And therefore, I can't wait to stitch on this one again. And I just, especially in this light, which blurs everything a little bit, I know that, but it just looks amazing. Yeah, I'm really in love. So yeah, that's just, it was totally worth it to not sleep. Yeah, here we go. And then on Wednesday was the day I was flying home, and I told you I would be taking the twisted band sampler because on Wednesday and today, those both are kind of half days because flying home and stuff like that, and it would be perfect to stitch on the twisted band sampler while on the plane. Well, as I just told you, I decided to not sleep before I got on the plane. Therefore, I just slept through the whole plane ride. Yeah, I did not realize anything. I think I fell asleep right after takeoff, and I woke up with our landing. So yeah, not much stitching. And also on the at the airport, where I live, it's a rather small airport, so I'm kind of used to going there and having my luggage taken care of and being through security in about 15 minutes. This time it took me an hour. So I did not have a whole lot of time at the gate either. Therefore, no stitching on the twist band sampler on the 22nd. And while being at home, I then wanted to stitch on another project. I had hoped for really a good amount of stitching, which did not happen. But the project I took home with me and I did stitch on at home whenever I got the time to stitch was Mini Cinderella by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Alexandra Daw. That's going to be the finished piece. And I'll show you what it looked like last time here. And this is where I got to. So I basically did about 650 stitches over 4 days. That's not a lot for me. I talk about the reasons in my life update at the end, so you'll have to wait a little bit for that. But I started a thread and had that in here. So this morning at the gate in Munich, I decided to just finish off my thread, which more or less worked. Before I started this video, I did another 10 stitches to actually finish the thread, and therefore no stitching on the twisted band sampler once again. But I finished my thread and did about 650 stitches over the whole Christmas break. So yeah, with this one, I basically have finished page number 1. And then I go through the pages, 4 in each row, and I think 3 pages high, and take the first color, top to bottom, left to right, that's missing, and then do 1 length of thread with that color. And then I move through the pages. I think I got to page 5. No, page 6. And that's been it. So a lot happened up here with some white colors, which you probably can see. A little bit happened down here, but the most visible progress probably is in here. I did a lot of filling in over here and just a lot of confetti stitches in this circle overall. So yeah, she is stitched on a 28 count light blue even weave, and I'm stitching 1/1 4 crosses, needleminder from Denka Designs. And yeah, that's my mini Cinderella. As I said, I had hoped for a whole lot more on her, but it did not happen. She will get one more stitching night shift, so I hope for another 400 to 500 stitches this year, but otherwise she just did not get as much progress as I had hoped. But that's life. And as I said, I talk about that a little bit more in my life update at the end. So that's basically all projects I stitched on. So not as many as I'd, not as many as I had hoped. There was one other project I hoped to stitch on, but also not as much progress as I had hoped. But Christmas is always a busy time, and therefore I'm actually fine with it. So plans. I'm going to continue stitching on a different project every day. I have 5 projects, I think, left. 5 projects left. And then I have stitched on all of them one more time before the end of the year. And I'm going to do, I'm not sure about my update videos. I want to do a whip parade on the 1st of January, which is a Saturday. My updates normally happen on Monday, but I do want to do an update video right before my whip parade. So I might do an update on the 1st of January first, upload that, and while that's uploading, I might film my whip parade. And then not upload it directly. Maybe that's going to happen. And something like that. I'm not sure yet. I don't like to update 2 videos a day. It gets rather exhausting to actually edit all of that. So yeah, I'm not sure yet. We will see about that. I'm probably going to film both in the same day, but maybe only upload one and then a few days later the other one. We will see about that. Not sure yet. Stitchy wise, I'm not going to show you all the projects that are left, but I'm going to show you the project I'm going to stitch on today, which I already mentioned a few times this video. It's the Twisted Band Supply by Northern Expressions Needlework. This is going to be the finished piece. I have finished band number 12, which is the specialty stitches band in here, and have started a tiny bit in band number 13, which is a cross stitch band. So I show you where I'm at with this one. So as I said, band number 12 is finished, which actually got me to reach the corner, and a tiny bit started in band number 13 with the cross stitch band. So I'm going to continue that. It would be amazing to finish the first color in band number 13, but I kind of doubt that. It's already 2 p.m., so we will see about that. This one is stitched on a 32 count white opalescent linen. I'm stitching with the called for dinky dies. There's a conversion for a reverse wall, one for dinky dies and one for DMC. I chose the dinky dies, and as indicated in the pattern, I'm stitching the 4 crosses 1/2, and the specialty stitches so far all with 1 strand of floss, except for those satin stitches in here. Those are stitched with 2 strands. And yeah, the needleminder is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So hopefully I will get a whole lot of progress on that today, but we will see about that. That's the plan for today. So now to life update. So whoever has an issue with me talking about injuries and blood, please switch off. I hope you enjoyed the video so far, but please don't listen anymore. So I arrived home on Wednesday, and as I did not sleep the night before, I just slept the whole day until it was time for dinner, and I talked with my parents, and that basically was that. On the 23rd, I don't even remember what we did. I think I just spent a lot of time with my parents and nothing special happened. Then on the 24th, on Christmas Eve, normally we go to a Bavarian breakfast with friends of my parents, white sausage breakfast, and that was planned as well. And in the evening, we then go to my grandparents, have a big feast of food, and just enjoy ourselves and also exchange our presents. Well, we were bound to leave the house at 10:20 to go to my parents' friends, and I think it was around 9:30 my grandma called. She fell downstairs, and my grandma's 81, so my mom and I immediately were kind of shocked. I basically ran towards my handbag, and my mom, while still on the telephone, was already putting on her shoes and stuff. So my grandma then told us, yeah, it's all right. She just needed someone to put a bandage on. She can't reach it herself. Everything's fine. So my mom and I went there. Basically, my mom threw me off right at the door, and she searched for a parking spot. And while I was going upstairs, I met my grandpa, who was grocery shopping, and I told him, I'm not waiting for you. I'm going to look for grandma. She fell down the stairs. He did not even know yet. So yeah, he takes a lot of time to get up the stairs or even in the elevator. He's close to 90, so it takes some time. So I decided to go ahead, and I entered the staircase, and there was a trail of blood to their apartment. My mom in the car had already calmed me down. Nothing serious happened. She can talk on the phone. She just needs a bandage. She doesn't want to call an ambulance. Everything's fine. And then I saw this trail of blood, and my heart rate sped up. I ran to her apartment. I found her in the bathroom. She basically fell down the stairs, and on her leg, I don't know how she managed it, but she had cut herself really deep, really wide cut. And yeah, she let me look at the wound. She put a pressure bandage on it, so the blood flow luckily had stopped. But she let me look at it, and I said, okay, we're going to call an ambulance. That needs to be sewn up. It was a really big cut. And my grandma really did not want to go to the hospital because she was really afraid that she had to stay there. I mean, she's 81 and she fell down the stairs. She herself did not really know what parts of her body she hit on the stairs. So there might have been something with her head. At that moment, we really did not know. My mom came in, and I immediately told her to call an ambulance, and we did. My mom went downstairs to get them. My grandpa just stood there, and he was very worried for his wife, and he did not know what to do with himself. So I told him, open all the windows. We had to put our masks on and then wait for the ambulance. My grandma needed some clothes because everything she was wearing was really full of blood. So my grandpa helped with that. And basically that's been an exciting moment. Then the ambulance came and they took care of her. They also said she needed to go to the hospital. There was no way around it. And then my father called and was like, okay, what's happening? Are we still going to have friends? What exactly is the plan? So I told him he and my brother can go to the breakfast, my mom and I would clean up and then come to the breakfast as well, because we're not allowed to go to the hospital. Here in Germany, the COVID numbers are kind of high, and therefore no visitors are allowed in the hospital. So my grandma had to go alone. I was not allowed to ride with the ambulance and to accompany her. So we went to the breakfast. And one thing, before she called, actually, I had put the first 5 stitches into my mini Cinderella, and then my grandma called. So she then was driven to the hospital. My mom and I cleaned up. And honestly, the sight of blood, the cleaning of the blood, not that much of a problem, but the smell? I took my mask off as soon as they were gone with the ambulance, and my mom actually left it on because she forgot. And that's the reason she had to clean the bathroom. I couldn't go in there without feeling sick, so I decided to clean the staircase. It's a white room. You don't smell the blood. I could open a window, and my mom had to do the bathroom. It was a lot of blood, and I was really worried about my grandma. But then we went to our breakfast. We had a good time. We came home. I did another 5 stitches, and then my grandma called. She was done. She was done in the hospital. She was allowed to go home, and I should get her. So I drove there, I packed my mom. We drove to my grandparents' apartment. My mom got out and started to prepare for our dinner. I got my grandma, and then we went back home. Well, as I said, my grandma cut her foot or her leg. You would not believe how many times me, my mom, anyone had to tell her to sit down. She always wandered around, brought cookies, brought this, brought everything, and we all told her, just tell us what to do. We're going to serve you today. And she just wouldn't let us. And so she started bleeding again. It was kind of fine. She then went back into the hospital on the 26th of December in the morning to get another bandage, a fresh one. And basically, above her cut, she had... I'm sorry, this is really disgusting. If you don't want to hear it, mute me for about half a minute. She had a bubble of blood above the cut, and they had to cut it open to get all the dried blood out. So that happened on the 26th, and she got a new bandage. And once again, she was always running around, never sat. On the 26th in the evening, we met up with my mom's family. Basically, I think we were 17 people, all boosted. And those who weren't boosted and where the booster wasn't those 15 days ago, we got tested, so we should be safe. But my grandma, again, always running around. And she started bleeding really badly. Basically, every half an hour, I put another bandage around her leg because she did not want to cut it short. She did not want to go home, but there was just a lot of blood. So I wrapped another bandage and another bandage. She brought a few with her. And sometime in the evening, my dad went out to his car to get the first aid kit, and we basically took all of it out. My grandpa then, he has very, very, very thin skin, and he also does take meds to thin his blood to enable circulation, and he just loves to scratch himself until he bleeds. And if he bleeds, he does not stop bleeding because of the blood thinner. So he did that. So he needed a bandage as well. At around 9, I think, we then packed up, and my mom and I drove my grandparents home, brought them upstairs. We put, I think, another 5 bandages around my grandma's leg in the hopes to get her through the night without bleeding through, so she could go to a doctor today. But my grandpa actually wrote us at, I think, 12:30 last night that he called another ambulance and my grandma was going to the hospital again. She was back at around 2:30, I think, so really fast visit. But they have sewn her up once again. So it was good she went there, and hopefully she learned her lesson and won't be running around that much anymore, and finally just sits there and lets everyone serve her. I hope. I really hope. I have to call today to see how she is. I will do that in a bit. I don't want to freak anyone out or something like that. She will be fine. It's just a cut. She had so much luck. Falling down the stairs, there could happen so many things. A friend of my grandparents actually fell down the stairs and is now disabled and in a wheelchair. So my grandma did have a ton of luck. We're very happy about that. It's an inconvenience. My parents will have to drive them to the doctors quite a bit in the next few weeks, but it's just a cut. So we're really happy about that. It's kind of a Christmas wonder. And we had our bloody Christmas. It's stuff that happens. And yeah, as I said, she just had so much luck. I'm really glad that all of it happened the way it did and not any worse. Of course, it would have been nice if nothing had happened. But yeah, it's the way it is. And I think she will be turning out quite okay. And therefore, that's totally fine. But that was the reason I did not stitch as much on Mini Cinderella as I planned to, because a lot of the time I took care of my grandma, which I don't have a problem with, because I'm not with my family that much, as I'm living quite a bit far from them. But being down there, it was kind of nice to take care of my grandparents. My grandparents took a lot of care for me and my brother when we were younger, because my parents both worked, and therefore it was nice to give something back, especially on Christmas. So I was kind of happy to do that for her, and I think she was happy too that someone was there and took care of her. And I think my mom was happy as well that she did not have to do it all on her own. So yeah, that was nice. And now she's going to get better, and we will see how everything turns out. I'm pretty sure she had more luck than brains, as you say in Germany. But yeah, it's stuff that happens, and as I said, everything will be fine. I hope it wasn't too disgusting to listen what happened. I know I mentioned blood quite a few times. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to edit now and then go to do some stitching. So hopefully on Saturday I can present you with another update video. That's the plan at least. So yeah, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas as well. Because as bloody as it was quite a wonderful Christmas for me. So I hope you had a great time as well. Happy holidays. And yeah, I already wish you a wonderful and happy 2022, because I will be back in January 2022, but not before that. So yeah, have a wonderful new year, and I will see you on the 1st of January. Bye!